All right.
Ready?
Yep. I'll give you a crisp high five if I can throw nothing at your...
You don't have anything today?
I don't have anything.
Still missed.
I still missed. But it's not surprising.
It's okay. It's not okay.
It's okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Two Guys and a Few Good Men. I am TJ Washuk.
And as always, I'm Garrett Loberg.
And this is Movie Lowdown for the week of November 4th, 2019. How's the No Shave November going?
I shaved the other day.
Oh, you did?
I did. And then the funny part is as soon as I got done, like I had a really good mustache going. As soon as I got done with the sides, it stopped working, and I was like, oh, cool, now I'm going to have a mustache for the rest of November. But I did get it to work, so no mustache anymore.
Good.
So, I guess that being said, let's get
right into the news.
This week, first up, I want to talk, since we always talk about Marvel news and Marvel news.
That, and also it keeps popping up.
It does. It's
just a topic that's been going on for, was it 3 weeks now? God. We just haven't talked about it?
Yeah, I don't think we've touched on it yet. People are either defending or against Marvel right now.
Started off with Martin Scorsese saying that Marvel movies are not really cinema, and then some actors or directors went to bat with him, with or against him. Most recently, there was one director of Midway.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Roland Emmerich, which we'll be getting into a little later.
Yes. I don't know. I see where he's coming from. Martin Scorsese, he's saying it's not really considered cinema because it's, it's comic book movies, it's action flicks. But then then he would have to say that, I don't know.
Gangster movies
are
not cinema, and they could be considered just, fun movies.
That or Fast and the Furious, I guess, would be considered.
Especially this last one.
Yeah, like a superhero movie.
And I agree with you. Like, I agree with some of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because they're really not. Like, they're really movies that you go and have fun watching, and you're like, okay, like, I sat through this, and I ate a bunch of popcorn, and I was happy.
They're heavily CGI'd films.
But, a lot of it, they do such a great job CGIing them that...
They should get recognition for it,
Yeah.
It's not like they're bad.
And they've gotten so much money that they've been able to put all that money into CGIing some good stuff over the last couple of years. So, it's just... It's hard to tell what side people are on. And honestly, in my side, I don't care.
Right.
I want to see a movie that makes me sit there and go, wow.
Exactly. Regardless of if it's considered cinema or not.
Exactly. So, in my
opinion,
opinion,
it makes me happy, and I like it.
I think directors are just trying to be more noticed right now, just because maybe Scorsese's got his movie coming up. So
The Irishman, yeah, like I was saying, The Irishman's coming out, so they're really punching that to get his recognition out there, because they haven't really advertised The Irishman. I haven't seen any advertisements.
No, I've seen like a trailer, like a
commercials,
10-second trailer for it on YouTube on an ad one. Like that, it didn't show anything.
Yeah.
So.
And then I saw something. Speaking of Irishman, that it's kind of like a slap in the face for cinema because it's only in select theaters.
That's right. And I read an article that said also that they're actually doing a disservice to themselves if theaters aren't doing Netflix movies.
Yeah, that's the reason I saw that as well.
So, and I agree. I think the Netflix movies should... I think I said it a couple weeks ago. I contradict myself because I think I said I didn't want to see them. But then after reading that article, I realized like how much of a disservice that is, because Netflix movies are pretty good sometimes. Like,
right.
They've had their hits and misses.
I mean, even though you get to see it for free if you have a Netflix service, but you can see it earlier before it comes out on Netflix.
And you get people that aren't going to be watching it on Netflix that will go see it in the cinema and get that money back.
Right, and I like to see movies in the theater rather than at home sometimes, just based off the picture quality and the sound. Like recently, Tyler Hudspeth saw Alien for the first time in theaters because they had seen an anniversary.
Cool.
And I thought that was awesome. I felt like that would be something I would do. I would go see.
Well, and Chandler does that a lot too.
Yeah.
They do a lot of like older films that they put it back into theaters just for like one night on a Tuesday. I think every Tuesday they do a movie from different eras.
Yeah, on Tuesdays. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's been a couple times where we've seen it up on the screen and we're like, oh, we should probably go see that. We just never did.
Well, we have only had so much time.
Exactly. No, and that's the thing. But I mean, it's cool to see that they're
doing that. Yeah.
So, but
moving on.
comment below. What do you guys think? Do you think Marvel movies are a waste of time, or do you think that they're good out there? Next up in the movie news, we've got No Time to Die. The new Bond film is going to be the most expensive Bond film of all time. And guess what? That's not surprising because they're doing like a million reshoots right now.
Right.
Daniel Craig broke his leg. I want to say.
Not to mention it's the newest one, so of course they're going to spend more money on the newest one rather than the older ones.
Remember their factory blew up?
Oh, yeah, when we first, we talked about this a while ago.
Yeah, about like a month and a half or 2 months ago.
I want to say longer than that.
Yeah, they had a controlled explosion that wasn't controlled.
Yeah.
And it tore off the roof of the place that they're filming in, and it was bad. It was...
Someone lost their job.
Yeah, like 5 people probably lost their job that day. So yeah, there's been a lot of probably payouts too for people that have got injured. I know that somebody was injured. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that this movie is going to be the most expensive because they've been taking so long to do it. They've probably put in a bunch of money for actors.
And they've had 2 directors now?
Yep. And
so that costs money?
Sheesh. Not surprising. So we'll stop beating that dead horse for a while until they do a trailer.
Yeah, trailer, exactly. I would want to see that.
So that brings us up to our segment, Who Joined That Movie? We'll start off with Scooby Doo. This was a huge surprise. You posted this yesterday, and I didn't see it until about the afternoon, until like Tyler had commented on it.
And then Kenny too, I think.
Yeah, it was actually Kenny.
Yeah.
It was actually Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. That was a big cast in this. So they're redoing Scooby Doo. They're kind of like doing an origin story for it, I guess?
Yeah, they're rebooting it, and they're trying to do a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe.
Yes. Yep. And
which everyone's trying to do now, because it makes sense. They want to have properties out there and make money.
Gotta jump on that gravy train sometime.
Exactly.
So who is in this movie? We got, and I don't know the exact who's playing what. You can kind of tell Zac Efron's going to be Freddy.
Yes.
So Zac Efron, we got Frank Walker, we got Gina Rodriguez, Will Forte, Tracy Morgan, Ken Jeong, and the Wahlberg of Wahlbergs, Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, Mark Wahlberg is Blue Falcon.
Oh, okay.
Zac Efron, of course, Fred Jones. Amanda Seyfried is Daphne. Jason Isaacs is Dick Dastardly. So they're gonna have like cameos from different older characters. They have Velma as Gina Rodriguez.
Figured.
Dee Sykes
is Will Forte.
Will Forte is Shaggy.
No fucking
And then there's a young Shaggy. Frank Welker, the original Scooby Doo, is coming back.
Yep.
Ken Jeong is playing Dino Mutt and Wonder Dog.
No.
Tracy Morgan is Captain Caveman. Wow, this is gonna be a fun film, I think.
This is animated. You can go and look at the pictures right now. Maybe we'll put them up.
It looks
here.
Cool. I like the way it looks.
Wherever. It looks great. So I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't see that and that was really cool. Moving on to some other big franchise news. We've got Batman. So we've got Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yes. And
Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth.
Now, both of these kind of threw me for a loop because the Penguin is typically a fat guy. However, I was telling you there is in the Batman Telltale, there's a skinny English Penguin, and maybe it's gonna be like something. He's gonna be similar like that. I don't know if they're gonna put him in a fat suit. I can't see him doing that or wanting to. He seems like a guy that wouldn't want that.
Maybe it's an origin story for him and like how he got to the way he looks like a penguin. I don't know. This one's tough because me too. I was surprised. Alfred, not so much. I think that Andy Serkis would play a really good Alfred Pennyworth. But Colin Farrell as Penguin. We were talking about different people that were going to be playing it. That were
like Jonah Hill.
Yeah, he would have been great. Ooh.
Or who was the guy we were just talking about earlier when we were looking this up? Well, the guy that's been in Disney movies.
Oh, I can't remember. Oops.
It's okay. I'll put him up on the screen.
But so yeah, that's some pretty big news this week for Batman fans.
Oh, Zach Gad.
Oh, Josh Gad.
Josh Gad. I can't see him being a villain in anything.
No, he's too goody-goody, warm-hearted, and like in too many good movies, like Disney movies, that it's kind of
It's not like Jim Carrey, how he's able to do it.
No.
You know.
Next up, we're reviving James Dean from the dead. Get your necromancing. And we're gonna be reviving James Dean in a CGI role for a Vietnam drama, Finding Jack.
Finding Jack. It's based off a novel about 10,000 dogs that were left in Vietnam by the U.S.
Yeah. So that's that movie detail.
And there's quite a bit of stir for this movie because of the CGI James Dean. Like, I know Star Wars, they did CGI characters of people that were dead.
Carrie Fisher's going to be in this one.
And also the general, I forgot his name. Forgive me, Star Wars fans. But he was in the second newest Star Wars.
Tarkin?
Yeah. Yeah, Tarkin, thank you.
He died in the 80s, I want to say, or the 90s, so they brought him back for this Rogue One.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's going to look like that. Like, you can tell it's CGI.
I mean, it doesn't take too much away from it, but I'm guessing that, like, probably we couldn't find a production company on this, so...
But why James Dean? Why bring him back? I don't know.
I'm just imagining this is Lionsgate after all this...
Yeah, biopics.
Like, all this shit.
Oh, based off of Midway. Which we still have to get into.
So yeah, that's James Dean. We'll be seeing how that looks. I can't wait for the trailer to see.
Yeah,
how that
just
comes
to
out.
see, then we can judge.
Then we can give it shit.
Right.
Next up, we've got Jason Statham and Scott Eastwood are coming in for another Guy Ritchie film, Cash Truck. It's supposed to be a heist movie.
And it's funny that we were saying last week that we haven't seen a Guy Ritchie film in a while. Now
Like
we're getting two.
Well, like a legitimate British Guy Ritchie film where he does heists or like it's crime movies. Mm-hmm. So this was good news again. So that means we're gonna get two Guy Ritchie films soon.
The funniest comment I saw about this role casting was that Scott Eastwood, that's his name, right? Scott Eastwood?
Oh, yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Looks like a default character for Need for Speed.
He does.
Like, they say that his acting is
Clint Eastwood's the son.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of generic. He's been generic in a lot of the movies he's been in, which is not, I guess, not bad. I mean, you can be typecast as a military person. That's what he gets.
Right, exactly.
Typecast as every time.
That or he's probably gonna be a police officer
or a car racer. Whatever he's played in the last 3 movies he's been in. Suicide Squad. And last up, we've got Ben Affleck drinking alcohol on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding.
No.
Got Ben Affleck in a movie called Hypnotic by Robert Rodriguez. It's a military heist movie. It's like a
government
MK
heist.
Ultra. Oh, government heist.
Yeah, government.
Like his
daughter has been kidnapped. He's trying to find his daughter. Meanwhile, there's some government heist going on.
So Taken with Ben Affleck.
Right.
Cool.
That's what I was thinking.
Just wanted to clear the air on that one because I figured that was what it was going to be.
Right.
Good to see that he's finally getting roles. They must be paying his insurance pretty well, or he's out of rehab.
Because he must have been out of rehab just recently then.
Yeah, and he was in like intense 3-month, I want to say.
Because we haven't heard from him for a while.
Yeah, I mean we've been talking about a
since
couple
the
of
summer. I want to say is when he went into rehab.
Mm-hmm. Right around the time.
So it's been 4 or 5 months maybe.
Yeah.
I would say. But that's it for the who joined that movie and our movie news. Let's get into our movie review.
I take him under my wing. He was right to be scared.
Woo! All right, so this week we've got two movies to review.
Yeah,
but I want to hone in on one that we saw
first. First, we'll go into Midway. Yes.
Wow. This movie was so bad that I was so bored last night. I did a 15-minute review on why it was so bad. So we'll post a link right where the subscribe is. If you want to go see that, it's on my other channel. But man, this movie was bad.
Right.
What were your thoughts on it? Because I broke the record for being an asshole enough for this movie.
All right. So first off, we saw a free screen for it. Mm-hmm. which I was excited for. Normally, I like war movies. I know you're not too big into war movies.
It's not that. It's just more or less like I get bored in them because they're retelling, but like
retelling stories.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
And this had a great cast.
A+. Aaron Eckhart. We had Luke Evans. We had Patrick Wilson. Ed Serkin. Mandy Moore. Nick
Dennis
Jonas.
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. I got a rash.
Not to mention, I'm sure those Japanese actors were probably pretty
big ones. Yeah, I couldn't find them on Wikipedia, but such a great cast.
Pretty much an A-list cast, I would say.
Oh yeah.
So it had me hyped based off of that cast. I know we talked about who's enjoying that movie.
Yeah, we were
this movie
really excited about Nick Jonas being in it.
Yeah, because it was one of his first roles.
movies. Yeah.
But this movie made it sour taste in my mouth. It made me hate going to the theaters.
Yeah, no, sitting through this movie,
because I felt like I had to finish it. We went to a free screen. You got to sit through the movie.
Did you think about asking me at one time to leave?
Yeah.
I did too. Okay. It's good to know because I think I looked at you and I was like, I'm not going to ask him. He's probably having a good time. And I looked at you sleeping and I was like, oh, maybe I should have asked him.
Right.
The funniest part about this was, really quick before we go into the review of it and why it was so bad, is that at the end of it, or at the beginning of the movie, they were like, the person that was obviously running the
screening, yeah. I forgot it was the name of the screening. It was Finger Paint Films or something like that.
Lionsgate. But she was like, oh guys, when you're done with the movie, come out to the lobby and tell us what you thought of the movie, whether it's good or bad. And that should have been the first distinct clue that this movie was going to be so fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. Was that she's like, good or bad,
I mean, for those screenings, they always ask for people to come outside and ask.
But it felt very ham-handed, they were like, please let us know.
Right.
Please let us know.
Right, because normally when I see those, they typically don't go into the front and say that. They just wait for when you get out of the theater and just, ask people as they walk by.
So it's like a drive-by, and you're like, oh no.
Right.
And,
so getting into the review, the story was okay.
Yeah, it was.
It's just the dialogue, the script, and
cutting.
the CGI, and the cutting, the camera angles.
They made the characters so cliche.
Yeah.
So much of the dialogue was just now let's do this. And
it was really dumb.
It was stupid. Yeah.
It made the audience feel dumb. I felt. It was meant for little kids.
Yeah.
That type of dialogue.
It was so they gave away a lot of the stuff that should have just been interpreted. They had
the rash.
The rash, and then there was a scene where the main character gets a bad oxygen tank, and he narrates the whole thing.
Yes.
Oh, I've got a bad oxygen tank. He's like, well, what's that mean? He's like, well, my lungs are probably going to give out on me. And then the rest of the movie shows all of it when they could have done something with it.
Typically in good movies, you don't need to narrate that.
Yeah.
You just you see that happening to the character,
and
when you interpret it in your head.
Yeah, and one big example is I thought about this was with him coughing blood. They could have done that without the dialogue they did in Constantine.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Constantine has something wrong with him because at one point he's coughing. He's like, and he looks at his hand and there's blood.
Right.
Super easy. You didn't have to explain anything. You didn't hear him going oh man, I shouldn't have smoked all those cigarettes when I was, from 12 to 45.
Right.
Now I've got something wrong with me, but no one knows what it is. I'm having cough syrup. Yeah. My lungs. Yeah, so much.
Like you were saying, after the theater, that the dog fights kind of made you nauseous.
Yeah, it was, watching them, they put so much effort into making them look so realistic that, with the shots going everywhere and then the planes moving around, it just it kind of got to the point where it gave me vertigo almost.
Right.
And it took away a lot of the CGI, took away a lot of the realisticness of the movie. Some of the backgrounds you could tell were just kind of pasted on there. It didn't look like they filmed on sets,
right,
on the actual fighters,
yeah,
on the destroyers. So
it makes me want to go back and watch the movie Pearl Harbor, just to compare, see which one's worse.
I mean, like Pearl Harbor was
Decent.
This just like, I can't tell you how many times, and I said this in my review, but I can't tell you how many times I rolled my eyes at dialogue and things that happened because I was just like, well.
But also, I can't think of a good movie with World War II in the sea, in the Pacific. I can't think of one. I mean, Pearl Harbor was the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head. I know there was a great show called The Pacific. That's the sequel to Band of Brothers. That was great. But other than that, there hasn't been really too many. Well, I take that back. There's Rescue Dawn. I think that was one with Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was World War II.
I didn't see that, but I remember Christian
Or it was Vietnam. I forgot.
Either way. Christian
Regardless,
Bale.
he lost a lot of weight and it was a great film. I can't think of what the era was. It's been so long. But yeah, this movie was probably the worst movie we've seen all year. No, it was. Because we didn't like Peanut Butter Falcon. Not just...
I would watch Peanut Butter Falcon 5 more times in a row than watch this movie again.
Right. I mean, Peanut Butter Falcon isn't a bad film.
No.
It was just boring.
Yeah, I felt like...
And everything was very obvious that it was going to happen.
And slow.
Exactly. Yeah. But this movie was just terrible. There was so many different technical things wrong with it.
And like, this was for veterans, too.
Right.
And they're dropping this on Veterans Day. This was supposed to be for like the 77th anniversary of it.
And there was veterans that were invited to the screening.
Yep, everywhere. Like they did.
They were
screenings.
cheering when it started.
Yep.
And it just feels like it was a letdown.
We walked out and you wanted to go talk to the lady about it because you were just so pissed off. And then I just remember looking back and seeing how many people were talking to her.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's probably a lot of veterans that were like, what the fuck?
And I felt really bad because that's why I walked away, is because there's this lady in front of me that was saying, oh, this was a great film. I really liked the CGI in it. It looked so good. It was a beautiful film. I was like, oh God, I can't.
And this is why they get funding for the next one.
Right! Because you get sheep that don't really watch movies, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's Midway for you, man. I had to watch another movie.
That's fine.
Just based off of my experience this week with Midway.
Frank Minna, Private Eye.
Boys.
Frankly, Franco! He's the one who taught me how to use my head, turn it into a strength. He gave me a place in this crappy world until I screwed up.
And I saw Motherless Brooklyn, which was a good film. If you get a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend it.
The guy next to us was talking about that.
Yeah, that's right. And he was crying watching this movie. So, watching Midway.
Yeah. At the end, he was like sobbing next to me, and I was just like, okay. Don't make it look like I hated this movie.
Right. But Motherless Brooklyn, it's basically a noir film, kind of like, I would say, Rain Man meets LA Confidential, or Rain Man meets LA Noir.
Okay.
Because Edward Norton's character kind of has like the Rain Man. He can like memorize things really easily. He also has social issues. He has a nervous tic, or Tourette's, which I guess they didn't diagnose Tourette's back in the day. They didn't really have a name for it.
He just had shouting disease.
Yeah. But the acting was great in this. The songs, the music was beautiful. The story was great. If you're going to see a movie this week, don't watch Midway. Watch Motherless Brooklyn.
There are so many other movies out there that we talked about the other day. We're surprised that we've seen so many of the movies in the theaters the last couple of weeks. Go see any other film than this. Than Midway. I'm sorry.
Right.
But just.
But yeah, Motherless Brooklyn. Just to keep it short, because I know we're running on time here. It was based off a 90s book, but Edward Norton created to be a noir type of a film. He got permission from the author, and he wrote, directed, and produced and acted in this film.
Good for him.
But yeah, it has Bruce Willis, it has Edward Norton, it has Willem Dafoe.
Oh, okay.
So he was in 2 films this year I could think of.
Okay.
He has a beard.
Still the same
so
beard.
I'm assuming either he filmed one or the other.
Well, I mean, the time that they're releasing, they're probably back-to-back.
Right.
Shoots.
And then Alec Baldwin, he plays a good character.
Really?
Basically, the whole premise of the story is They're investigative. Well, they're private eyes. They're
private eyes.
They're private eyes, basically. There's about 4 of them. I can't think of all their names off the top of my head, but in the beginning of the movie, Bruce Willis dies during the investigation, and they don't know what the investigation was because Bruce Willis's character, for some reason, likes to keep things private, and then Edward Norton's character seems like to be like the only one that wants to know what happened. The other characters don't really care and kind of want to stay out of it, and it turns into a whole citywide like corruption.
Okay.
Like the whole like Edward Norton's character thought it was going to be such a small thing that he could easily figure out by himself, but it turns out to be like a big thing with the city as well.
Okay.
But it's definitely a good movie. Shot well.
It looked like it was shot well from the trailers.
For a period piece, he did really well. Edward Norton. I was listening to a podcast on Joe Rogan. He was saying that it was such a struggle with the vehicles because they break down so easily.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of those are just so old.
And they had a few like car chase scenes in it. The only one issue I had with being a period piece is towards the end, Alec Baldwin's characters light up a cigarette, and on the cigarette there's a logo of the American Spirit. And that cigarette came out in 1980.
I'm glad you caught that.
Right. Because I was like, wait a minute, that's American Spirit.
Well, we know what Alec Baldwin smokes now.
Right, exactly. But yeah, this is a good film. If you're looking for a noir type of a film, detective film, definitely check this one out. But yeah, it's kind of a long movie. Lowdown.
We had a lot to
talk about.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys commenting. Do appreciate that.
Yep.
But if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, I am TJ Washuk.
And I'm Vegeta.
Love you. And good night.
But seriously, Midway was terrible.
This has been a Two Guys production.